Franz Alfonso, Mr. Paulino Villanueva, Kuya Dindo De Leon. What does it mean to be a leader?
Personally, being a leader is being comprehensive and being determined. Comprehensive in the sense that you don't create personal and social hierarchies. You consider everyone as equal and you provide whatever you can to people who are in need of your service. Determined, we need to be determined in the sense that whatever or regardless of the dilemmas or adversities that we encounter in life, the essence or the state of being a leader is still preserved in you. So you know, if you want something, if you want to produce this kind of product, or if you want to pursue this kind of goal, you'll do whatever it takes as long as it's legal and it's right for everyone. It's acceptable for everyone.
Leaders are the people who do determine how an organization will move forward. Leaders are the ones who do provide vision, peace in terms of how the organization is going to be in the next 10 years, 10 or 15 years. So leaders are important because without them, it's like a ship without a captain. So the captain of the ship needs to be there.
The leader is the person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. Person followed by others.
What does it mean to be ethical?
Ethical is to be ethical is not simply as telling what is right from wrong. That's what the books say, or the books are saying. Ethics is about what is right or wrong. But in terms of applying it in real life, there are a number of gray areas that we just can't clearly say which is wrong or which is bad. But in a way, ethics is all about us being able to determine how we move forward with the greatest morality or the good in our mind. Again, it's all about good and what is wrong, pero there are numerous discussions about what is ethical. Other than the church telling us that this is right and this is wrong, other than the law telling us that this is illegal and this is not legal, there is the human person factor, which says that as long as these things are creating good for others and for myself and for the people around me, basically we're not far from the devil.
Or relating to moral principles or the branch of knowledge bearing with this, morally correct.
Being ethical entails discipline. Being ethical is conditional in the sense that I can have a different ethical approach in a certain environment. I can be Lilo in our house. I can be completely and diplomatically ethical in the classroom. But when it comes to ethics, it's such a broad term in the sense that we do not only confine ourselves to one environment. So being ethical, if we are to define it in a general sense, entails discipline. So in any matter, it will be applicable.
Who is your favorite leader and why?
My favorite leader is President Barack Obama because he has dignity and a strong personality.
He's not actually a leader, but I consider him a leader. And in one way or another, Filipino Serentino, I consider him a great leader. Why? Because he shows a great matter of respect to his students. He doesn't treat us individually to the extent that
came into existence during the time the reformers and he has fought for the rights even if people hasn't talked about him. But even in his old age, he has stood against Marcos and his oppression, especially for the poor. Even though Mr. John came from the rich people, well, he's he was someone who was fighting for the poor. Kalawa kong hero would be Mahatma. He has advocated for peace. He has left his very comfortable life in England and has chosen to become one of the poorest, but at least to be with the poor of India and to advocate the philosophy of peace.
If you were the president of the Philippines, how will you handle the problems of public education?
Public education for me is not really the central dilemma of our nation. I believe that public education is just one of the many aspects that our government needs to deal with. If I were to be asked what actions will I do, first I would like to just promote the existing principle of the alternative learning systems or alternative learning approach, which is more of applicable to socially degraded societies, such as the environment of informal settlers and such. Through ALS, we can provide service to those out of school youth, etc., without actually suffering quality in education, because the teachers are actually those that are capable of providing service in this arena. Now, if I were to be asked to propose a separate program, perhaps resorting to what I want to call as maybe adjusting to the needs and the desires, the interests of the youth is one good approach in alleviating the negative influences of public education. How? With regards to being ethical, we could maintain the principle of being ethical, but I believe that if you want the youth of the day to learn in a broad perspective, you need to cope up with their ideals, with their interests. How? You need to perhaps, although it may be vague, but for the sake of argument and for the sake of giving an example, we can have different approaches. You can have more social exposures than of limiting yourself in learning in four sides of the classroom, etc. So that's it. That's too long.
Giving an exact ban for extra schools, books, rooms, and other things needed by a school to give a good secretary that has dignity and love to the country.
Education or public education is important. I think that's what the Americans did. They wanted to empower the young Filipinos back then because we had to stand up on our own eventually, meaning the Americans did. More than 100 years after the Americans have left this country, more than 100 years after the Spaniards have left this country, we are still in an infancy stage where education needs to be addressed. Meaning, if there is no clear grounding of how our children would learn, how they would develop the values necessary, how they would be able to govern themselves and their families, hindi talaga undan ang Pilipinas. So how important is education? I mean, really routing that a big chunk of the budget of the government be placed on education, not just education that favors only a few people. UP is a small population as compared to a bigger number of students in the country, a bigger number of the youth. According to the statistics in the Philippines right now, the current population, more than half of the population of the country is youth. So we needed to educate these young people because that is the only way that we're going to lift ourselves, and hopefully these young people will would bring our country. We'll have better governance, we'll have better leaders, we'll have better politicians. And the only way we could replace the whole bureaucratic, crazy manner this country is running is by putting more young people in government, in leadership roles, hopefully the presidency. And yeah.
Thank you, sir. And that's it for the interview.
Okay. Kita mo pare.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.
That's meant anything, anything at all. I know I'll probably take the fall. I was going in service till I hit the wall. I'm absolutely sure one day I'll settle down, find a special spot, a best gal and some mezcal. Got trees growing, got a flower garden going, couple herbs for the cooking, couple more for the smoking. Got a hammock for the swinging, fresh tomatoes for the salad. It'll complement the burgers, free cooking on the grill. Still I drink myself to